What's up?
And we are live. Wow, Manuel actually beat me to it this time.
What's up? Did my what's up make it my first one?
At least part of it did.
Did I tell you, or well, I mean, more accurately, did I tell the show? I think I did though, but I was watching a thing on on spoof movies, and they were talking about the what's up line.
Yeah.
And I thought that was we did talk about this. We talked about this when we had Futaku on. And in my head, I always thought that was a scary movie line, but apparently even Scary Movie was stealing that from like a then Budweiser ad or something.
That's where it came from. You don't I believe it was the one with the frogs.
Forgot. Yeah, exactly. They were like, what's up? What's up? And they were all doing it to each other, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a fucking Scary Movie.
No.
So I love that.
You act like those movies had anything original in them.
Exactly. I was gonna say, like, was there anything original in Scary Movie? Apparently not.
Okay, Manuel, what are we doing tonight?
It's anime. It's anime. It's anime. I don't know why I said May like that, but yeah, it's anime season. Week 2, season 2, if you want. And
well, it is. It's week 2 of season 2.
Yeah, and we're doing some shorter anime. I actually did take some notes. I think I told JD I did it, because I thought I actually. Fun fact. I took a nap not that long before the show, and if you ever take an afternoon nap, when you wake up, you don't know what the fuck day it is, where you are, you know what century it is. I thought I dreamed taking the notes, and I did. I actually did that. But yeah,
congratulations, Manuel.
I'm productive. Yeah, and JD's joining us because he has a. It's funny because like I always thought that like anytime we have a topic, JD can join in. But I realized last week when we did that, what did we do last week? Oh, the 9 anime get to know us, the 3x3s. We had no time at all for JD's, and I felt like we sped through even ours.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it's all anime all the time. I took an afternoon nap. Afternoon naps are great. They're addicting. Like I've been trying to stop doing them because usually I end up sleeping really late.
Yeah, luckily like you don't have to sleep. You don't have to work through the entire afternoon.
Yeah. What the fuck? Sorry, I said I was ready before we went live, but apparently I wasn't. I need to open up Twitch on this thingy so I have my chat open. But yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. I was going to say it. I forgot what the hell it was. So we'll just start into it. Maybe I'll remember. Maybe I won't.
Oh, man, just keep it short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, just last week. So we'll just get started. So what exactly you could explain a bit better? We're doing short episodes. What are the criteria here, JD?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure which criteria you use, but I'm sticking by the one that I went by last time. Is that I am picking anime that are only basically one 12 or 13 episode season. A few exceptions. Yes, one core.
Anyways, go on.
Yeah, there will be some exceptions. Some are a few episodes longer or have like an OVA that doesn't. I guess some will add, but it's still like not that long. It's less than 2 cores still.
Okay. Also, I think I was the only one who snuck them in last time, but also, actually, no, I think we all snuck one in. I figured we won't do movies this time because one of the potential topics, and they might change, but one of the potential topics for the rest of the month is movies. So I took out any movies that I was going to talk about because actually I have a lot of anime movie recommendations, and even if we don't do it now, that's definitely a topic to save. And Blue Sub number 6, isn't that okay? I don't know if anyone remembers that anime. It's pretty good. I only saw it once and I barely remember it. But what I do remember, oh no, it was Nadia. Never mind. All I remember was that one dude who claimed that the Kimba and Lion King things were like ripping off each other. He tried to say Atlantis is ripping off Nadia. Sorry, I confused with Blue Submarine. Sorry, it's Nadia. Mm-hmm. But he tried to say that.
No, Nadia's in a weird way is ripping off Castle in the Sky, but I guess it's because both ideas started from Miyazaki. Like the easiest way for me to describe Nadia is Castle in the Sky in the sea.
Castle in the Sky in the sea.
Yes, either that or Wind Waker, and the ending takes place in space instead.
It does have strong Wind Waker vibes. But I guess I'll start it out, or because who knows how we're gonna do this? So
Yeah.
I'll just start it out. Uh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start by saying a lot of mine are gonna be not a lot, but a bunch of them are gonna be OVAs if we get to them all. But first, I want to give a throwaway one, and I'm gonna technically have two. JD, I'm stealing already. I mean, I'm cheating already. First is Dirty Pair Flash, and the only reason I'm not gonna go in depth into it here is because I went in depth into it already on a DTL. The last DTL, I think, if I'm not, no, I didn't do that last DTL, but it was one of the last. Um, so if you, I'll link it in the description or something like that if you want to hear my whole take on it. But long story short, I talked about it last week, briefly. It's just really, really good, and it technically not only is it a short anime, there's 16 episodes, so it's more than a core. It's OVAs, but there's literally two 6-episode arcs, and then I think I did the math wrong. There's a 6-episode, two 5-episode arcs, and then like 6 random episodes at the end or some shit like that. So you don't even have to invest a lot of time in it. You don't like a lot of like mental energy following a plot. But anyways, uh my first real recommendation is New Cutie Honey, aka Shin Cutie Honey. In my opinion, this is the best Cutie Honey adaptation. Okay, if you like magical girl, like more like cutesy magical girl stuff, watch Flash. It's fucking 50 episodes though, so I don't know if you want to watch that. But if you want to see a good Cutie Honey, Universe is all right. So unlike unlike my rant about Crybaby,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think Universe is that great.
Okay, for those who don't know, Manuel, what is Cutie Honey?
Cutie Honey originally is one of the very first magical girl shows, done by Nagai. It very famously like created a lot of tropes for magical girls. One of them being like the transformation sequence, where like they kind of go naked and like put their outfit on or whatever, and then also where like they could transform into other people. Like if one of Cutie Honey shticks in each episode, because they're very formulaic episodes, is that in order to defeat the bad guy of the week, she'll like transform into like not transform, but like put on a different disguise. Like one of the more popular recurring ones is Hurricane Honey, where she's like a biker, or like I can't remember all the other names, but there's like she'll be a reporter, and at the end, what she'll do is before she does the final transformation, she's like, sometimes I'm a motorcyclist, sometimes I'm a reporter, sometimes I'm a schoolgirl selling candy, but all the time or whatever, like what I really am is like the warrior of love, Cutie Honey, and she transforms. But New Cutie Honey is great. Also, it has the best version of the theme song. It's by a band called Lay 54321. I love that group. Like in general, they're a genre called Shibuya-kei, which is like a very like French jazz type J-pop thing. Which I'm calling it now. It's gonna blow up once fucking Reddit finds out about it. It's gonna be like the new city pop. Like just wait for it, guys. I'm calling it now. If not, I will eat.
Yeah, Manuel, don't make any more bets about eating things.
I mean, well, it's one of those things where it's like, at what point do I say that they didn't call it? But but anyways, no. Shin Cutie Honey is a really good one. It's an OVA. It's a lot more violent. It's a lot more like there's a lot more random nudity, stuff like that. It takes place in the future. It's very cyberpunky. Cutie Honey typically doesn't. Usually, it's a normal, Japanese schoolgirl type shit. But this one's like in the future. It's an older Cutie Honey, and yeah. There's a bit more to the plot, but just watch it. It's great. There's great villains in it. A lot of old school, late '90s, early 2000s ADV voice actors. I used to love like the few times I used to like dubbing things because I didn't know anyone doing the voices. Anyways, that's my first one.
All right. Yeah. Okay, then I guess I'll take it on to mine. My first one is actually a fairly recent one. And speaking of people in dubbing roles, this one definitely got hit by it. Because my pick for right now is Tomo-chan is a girl.
Is Kaylee in that one?
No, this is the... Oh, it's not as far as I know. No, this is the one with Sally.
Oh. I was just talking about Sally Amaki the other day. Um, like n- I don't want to be like, oh, we were like best friends or whatever. She watches and talks shit about me. We just hung out several times, mainly through friends. She was a good friend of a good friend, if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah. Anyways,
So
I have
yeah.
funny stories I don't want to say, but yeah, let's just move on. Nothing
So yeah.
crazy, nothing that get canceled. Just nothing that get me canceled, but just yeah, just funny stories. Keep going.
Yeah. So basic
Tomo-chan's a girl.
premise. Yes, of this one, Tomo-chan is a girl, but I think it's fairly well spelled out in the title. But she is very unfeminine, very tomboyish. Actually, and so she likes her best friend June, who for about 5 or so years that they knew each other, because they didn't go to the same schools, didn't realize she was a girl, and so it's basically her attempts to kind of improve her femininity and kind of win him over. Actually, and it's very, I like it. It's very comedic. Actually, this was so much easier when I was going through it in my head, but it's a really funny kind of rom com. Actually, I like Tomo-chan a whole lot. I did. Oh, Manuel. Okay, it's you talking
Yeah.
Bubblegum Crisis. Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say because fuck, I I don't want to. I kind of put it there. Like I'm typing as A to J. Um, Wesley's accidentally stealing like the stuff I'm about to talk about soon. So just keep going. I don't want him to think. I don't want anyone to think that I'm just reading chat. Just like, yeah, I want to talk about that next. Damn it. Anyways,
So yeah, so it's kind of uh, her explanation, or her delving into her own feelings, and how she kind of struggles with being feminine while still being this tough, kind of deep voiced tomboy. And June is just like, how blind could this man have been to his own feelings for a long time? It's like one of the opening scenes is her saying, June, I love you. And him going, I love you too, bestie. So it's basically like the embodiment of that.
oh
One person has like the half heart,
yeah,
and the other one's that.
that's great.
And also Sally Maki's plays Carol in both the Japanese and English.
It's funny because this isn't my This isn't one of my recommendations. It's still good. It's just not one of the ones I would have chosen. But I did think about it earlier. There's an anime. I think it's a single OVA, like a 150-minute episode, um, called Orion Sukeban. And I think the English title they give it, like, because there's a live action movie that was translated officially. They call it Sukeban Boy. And for those who don't know what a Sukeban is, it's like one of the delinquent girl, like the stereotype, where like they have
Mm-hmm.
the dark uniform with like the long dress, long skirt, and they like fight with weapons, you know, like that
Yeah.
kind of shit. Anyways, Oran Sukeban was, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the exact. This is maybe the reason I didn't talk about it, because I believe the plot also has like a gender bending type, like, you know, thing to it. And the whole time you're describing it, I'm like, ah. And then I'm like, that only does that kind of feel like some of it, because like obviously one of the whole things is like, wait, you're a girl, or you know, or
Well,
should I say like,
I mean,
huh?
it's at least in Tomo, it's not a surprise at the start of story. It's to start in like the past because they met when they were
Ah,
younger and they didn't go to school together. And she has a lower voice, acts in a very tomboyish manner, and has a name that I guess isn't terribly gendered.
June's the guy, right?
Yeah, June's the guy.
Now this is funny because I have a feeling that I have to talk to somebody who's like more like versed in like Japanese culture, but I do know for a fact that June, the name is very popular amongst Takarazuka actresses. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's an all-female stage play troupe. For
Yep.
those who don't know, because it's very popular amongst the actresses that play the male parts. The typically when somebody plays the male part, they're the more popular actress, and they only play male parts. And June is a very common name for them to take, because a lot of the famous ones were called June. Like I mentioned the Yuri thing last time. Like the term Yuri comes from like
Mm-hmm.
Takarazuka as well. And June is also the name of a very popular, I'm sure it's gone now, but a very popular girls love like comic, like magazine. So I can't help but wonder if that name was like meant to like was chosen specifically for like reasons like that. It feels like it was. Anyways, my second recommendation, not
Yep.
Orion Tsukuban. It's gonna be Bubblegum Crisis, just because I want to get that one out the way before fucking Wesley talks more about it. I love Bubblegum Crisis. I'm surprised that was in my fast recs last time. I didn't talk about it fully. Um, it, I don't have. I think I still have the disc somewhere. It was one of the first anime DVDs I ever bought. In that they didn't even make standardized DVD cases yet at this point. This is an anime that came out like on DVD in like 96 or 97, I think was when they printed it. Mind you, I got a little later used somewhere. But like it was in a giant box. And then you open the giant box, there's this cardboard thing, and inside the cardboard thing were 3 jewel cases, and those were the DVDs. And I was amazed by DVDs. Like, mind you, this was my first anime DVD I think of ever, but this was the first anime DVD that had like both tracks on it. And it's there that I learned the horrible practice of dubbing anime songs, because the show opens with one of the best scenes in anime ever. Period. Any genre, where Pris and the Replicants do this song called Konya wa Hurricane. Amazing fucking opening. Totally rips off the opening for Streets of Fire. If you ever see that movie, it like by their own admission, if you could like sync them up, and it's like the same shots kind of thing going on. And if you prior to this, I didn't realize that song was in Japanese, and because the dub, they actually just sung a new version called Tonight's a Hurricane, which is, and it was one of those dubs where they just translate the lyrics. So it's kind of awkward, and I guess that because like they didn't have the budget, like the full budget. The Japanese one has like backing vocals and stuff like that, and none of that's in the English one. Anyways, my point is watch it dubbed, and I think that watch it subbed.
I was about to say, Manuel.
I said that. I do think I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that the dub doesn't exist anymore, because that's just the way like anime licensing works. And I'm not exactly sad by that. But anyways,
so
the show itself is a.
No, you seem to be going into it. So what? I was gonna say a description other than the opening scene.
The show itself is about it's basically kind of like Blade Runner. There are these robots that are called like not called replicants. So that's the name of the band. Cybers, I think was what they're called. It's been a while since I actually seen this one semi recently, but the first episode at least. And every so often they go berserk, cause like haywire downtown, and there's a special branch of the police called the AD police that are supposed to deal with them. But because these cyber attacks, I'll just call them robots, kids are not called cybers, but these robot attacks are getting so intense that they can't deal with it. Even the special police can't deal with it. So there's like this there's this millionaire, like this like fucking Bruce Wayne type, but she's a woman, who like develops these powered suits of armor and creates a team that are meant to fight these things. But they're kind of vigilantes themselves, because the police don't really want them there, but they're saving the people. And yeah, and what I love about the designs of these powered armored suits is that they have high heels. Yeah, look at it. And I'm sure a guy designed that. I just fucking love it, because it's such a. I'm like, imagine you're out here, like you have to fight like these robots that are like just massacring the downtown sector, and you're like, but I have heels. Who the fuck would build them with heels? But anyways, yeah, and then there's also a lot of interpersonal drama. Like I already mentioned, Pris has a band, and she's one of the. They're called sabers. I know that much, but which is probably why I'm confusing and calling them cybers. But it's
Saber's King Arthur. We all know that.
It's a lot better than the eventual TV show that came out of it. The TV show is 2040. It's really good. Also, it's a very 80s OVA looking series. If you like that style, there's it's a very violent, very bloody. There's a lot of like a lot of when the robots go all crazy, there's a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna grab this guy and just crush his skull. We're gonna watch all of it in detail. And the OVA is only 8 episodes, and because it's an OVA, there's not a whole lot of continuity between them. There is like at one point, like I said, I mentioned the personal drama. At one point, like Pris wants to leave because she's like wants to focus on her band, if I'm not mistaken. That's a whole plot point. And even though I don't think they ever really do a concert like that ever again. But yeah, it's a great show. Everyone watch it. Bubblegum Crisis. And there's no bubblegum.
This is the biggest
That
betrayal since Aiura had an opening that was all about crabs for some reason, that never had a single crab in the entire show.
No, I remember before I got the DVD pretty early on. Like I said, like I bought it like in '99, 2000. I was definitely like in ninth, like eighth or ninth grade when I got it. One of my first DVDs, like I said, and I remember I don't remember if I went looking for it, but I didn't know about it before. But me and my friends, like all those like Rap Boy and all those friends that we talked about in the past, like we're all like Bubblegum Crisis. What a stupid name! Like, oh my god, guys, we're out of bubblegum. And then they build a show around it. And, like, they build a show around it. I can only assume it's called that because like they're girls. I know it sounds sexist, but they're fucking in high heels. So I don't know. Um, I don't know why they called it Bubblegum Crisis. This is also a sequel, sort of sequel series. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. Because the main Bubblegum Crisis is 8 episodes. Then there was 3 episodes, I think, of 80 Police.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 3 more episodes, I think, of another Bubblegum Crisis one. I don't remember either of those that well. So just watch the first 8 and you're fine. And that's it for that one.
All right. Speaking of shows that start with B and
Boomers! They're called Boomers! He's right. Thank
Manuel,
you!
how could you forget that? You are the Ultra Boomer.
He was right. Okay. Thank you. They're called Boomers. Thank you. That's the best part. Yeah. See, I'm calling them Cybers because they're called Savers. So in case anyone was yelling at the screen, I did notice that. Obviously, the good guys are called Savers. But I forgot they're called Boomers. Yeah, they're called Boomers.
I still can't believe that it's a classic Boomer moment.
Exactly that. See, it was all a bit. It was all a bit.
Okay, so back to my segue. So yes, speaking of violent shows that start with B and have a number of episodes that are divisible by 8, do you know where I'm going with this, Manuel?
Bastard.
No. Bacano.
Oh, you motherfucker! That was on my list too.
Okay, good. So we can both talk about this one.
Okay, you go first.
So yes, basic premise of the show as seen in the anime. Hundreds of years ago, a bunch of people got the immortality elixir and drank it. Now they're in 30s America, 1930s or 40s. I think it varies between time points. But our main plot is aboard the train that is infamously known as the Flying Pussyfoot. I
forgot about that.
Some immortals, some gangsters, some rival gangsters all get on this train, and chaos happens. Like I say, people are trying to take, I think it's a senator's wife hostage. One gang is trying to hunt down another gang. There's an assassin aboard. And it's just, and then that's only in like the present day plot. Then there's a plot from like 10 years before where Firo is just becoming a made man and having a very interesting first day of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of mob intrigue. I'm not gonna lie, the show was really confusing, and at first, it's one of those shows. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a huge fan of that kind of storytelling, where like it'll make sense if you get to episode 9 or whatever, like 10 or whatever, when it finally starts really explaining things. But if you're willing to look past that, because I will admit that's not for everyone, including me mostly. It's really good, and there is an episode, not that one that finally we think start making sense, because I don't think it really makes sense until, like I said, like there's an episode that explains what was going on the 10 years past kind of bullshit. Like I was so confused why they kept cutting back and forth to these things. Like I'm like, what? But there's an episode where they go really far back when they all get immortal, like in the 1600s or whatever.
Yeah,
and that episode was like, okay, what the fuck is this? I do like, what are those main? They're not the main characters. They're the characters that you see at the beginning and the end, like the guy and the girl.
Oh, you mean the vice president and his assistant?
Is that who it
Are
is?
the Daily Days?
Is that who they are? Like the ones who are like who they don't realize that they're immortal at the end.
Oh no,
Spoiler
Isaac
alert, by the
Miria.
way. Yeah, spoiler. By the way, they don't realize that they're immortal until the
Yeah,
end, and they
because
like
they've
when they
gone through like
finally
70 years and haven't aged a day.
yeah, it took them that long to realize it. Like they're like in basically in modern times ish, and they're like, wait, are we like they have this whole moment. And if I'm not mistaken, there's an immortal rat. Isn't that like a plot point? I want a show about the rat.
Yes, because it was the scientist was doing experiments to recreate the serum on them.
But we saw it later. Like we saw like we saw
Yeah,
like the immortal.
he apparently got one of the perfect serums or good enough.
So yeah, there's an immortal rat, and I like to think that that's the same rat from Endgame. Like, he's been around so long now. He's like a superhero. He's secretly saving the world multiple times. We just don't realize it.
So yes, some bloody and very good action, and I like the I guess the Tarantino-esque plot where it's like we said, cut up into like multiple time periods, cutting forth between them. It's not really anyone's flashback. It's just, hey, here's the events that happened 10 years ago. This might become relevant in like the next scene, or even scenes in the same time period. It'll be like something happens in like another car. You hear someone come in, and then they'll cut, and you'll see what happened there. I like when the plot does that kind of stuff.
Oh, there was a scene, and of course, JD's gonna make fun of me for remembering this scene. Like, and it's like honestly, even if the character was not okay, there's a Chinese character.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Is it?
But the waitress
Yes.
at the bar.
Yes.
No, even if she wasn't Chinese though, she came from a fucking different show because out of fucking nowhere, we get this like big titty anime, jiggly boobs out of nowhere. It's like, what show did this become? Because the show's
Someone
pretty
anyone
serious
bring this up.
mostly. The show's pretty serious mostly until that one scene where suddenly she's like, "Oh no!" like, you know. And it's funny because like there's actually like apparently I'm not sure if the manga goes on or if people just like
The light
know all
novels
this
go
shit.
on.
Well, that's what it is. But like there's like a Baccano wiki. Like basically everyone has all these plots. Like there's this Mexican person who's like in the background of one of the scenes, and she has a whole story, but the Chinese waitress doesn't. Like everyone has a story. I'm like, what happened to Chinese waitress? Like, oh, spoiler alert, she becomes immortal, but nothing happens to her. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. Nothing happens to her noteworthy the rest of the series. She's just there to like bounce. Anyway, that's my takeaway.
Yeah.
The Chinese bouncy waitress.
And also the dub of this is just fantastic.
The dub's pretty good. I only watch it. To be fair, I shouldn't even say that's pretty good because I only watch a dub. I've never seen the original, but yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job, like trying to emulate the like old movie kind of style, especially
Oh,
or like a modern day version of that.
I don't remember what name. I remember like I was watching. I group watched this with some friends during like the lockdown times, and I remember like trying to mimic some of the accents and like I don't remember anymore. There's
Rail
that one
tracer,
kid. There you go, the rail tracer.
oh, niece, it's the rail tracer. I'm Jacuzzi Splat.
And it's like what the rail tracer. That's my favorite one. Yeah, that's the best one. It's like whoa, these are some funny. These are some very new. If you ever watch Newsies, the very some Newsies accent. I guess like New York 1920s or the fuck. Anyways. Like, what you mean? Anyways, let's stop. Moving on. Sorry. I didn't mention this earlier. I'm just gonna squeeze this one in real fast. I mentioned Shin Cutie Honey. Re Cutie Honey is another good one. That's an OVA that came out like around the same time the live action movie did, the early 2000s. It's 3 episodes, and it's basically literally animating the live action movie, but a better plot. So watch that. To get the other one that Wesley mentioned, and I want to get it out the way. I'm a huge fan of Golden Boy, and this anime, every so often someone discovers it through like it's very memeable. And someone discovers it, and like honestly, I should probably watch it again and see if it's aged badly because I don't think it has. Like, okay, I'm sure it has in some degrees, but I remember watching this with my then girlfriend. Like, I got it on DVD and I watched it. Thought it was one of the best things I'd ever seen. So I literally invited like my then girlfriend over because like, we were pretty young at this time, like high school age, and she came over and watched it. And like, so I showed it to a girlfriend. So it's not all that bad, right? Basically, this dude is like wandering around through life, taking on various jobs, and like the episode always starts with him like being a worthless pervert, basically. Like, he's lusting after all the girls, we're trying to fight it, but it's like usually it's like this. I'll never forget, there's a scene where like he goes to the bathroom, like when he's working in the office, and like I think he's programming or something like that. He goes to the bathroom, and like his boss had just used the bathroom before him, so he like starts sniffing the toilet seat. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, okay, man. I don't know about you anymore, but shit like that. Um, but the whole thing is like obviously the women hate him, everyone hates him, and he's never good at his jobs. And then the episodes always end where like he leaves. He goes off to go do his next mission in life. But then the women that like hated him, that he was like lusting after, like go and they check on his like final job type shit, and he like saves the company, makes the best game, bakes the best whatever, shit like that. And like it was weird, but I liked it. It was kind of like it was meant to be endearing, and I think I felt that way at the time, except for this toilet sniffing part. But I liked it, and like I think I don't want to spoil it, but at the end, like the last episode, it does have somewhat of a finite ending. Even though I think it's only like 4 or 6 episodes. In the last one, some of the girls from the past try to like come back, like like we love you, you're actually the best guy ever. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I feel like it's just like someone's wish fulfillment. Like that there's some the, the animator who made that show and wrote it or whatever, like the assistants are like, man, if only someone noticed me. Shit like that. But it's good. The blonde computer chick spits at him and he catches it and swallows it. That sounds about right. That sounds like a thing that
Manuel,
happened.
are you sure you aren't accidentally recommending porn to these people?
Oh yeah. Um like, oh yeah, it is porn. I'm not gonna lie though. Like, I remember like I watched it thinking it was gonna. I'll be real with you. Like, I was a bit like I didn't want like hentai, but I used to like watching a lot of anime that was either violent or like very like I don't want to say erotic. That's not like I'm just like, trying to like masturbate to it, but you know what I mean. Like something like very like basically. I was young and stupid. And I wanted to see crazy shit, so I watched it thinking it was gonna be a lot more like just straight up like dudes pervert on girls, kind of thing for like 6 episodes. And then I was surprised that it was like an endearing story. Like I said, I part of me wants to watch it now and maybe not recommend it, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean, like from what I basically remember, just don't go sniffing toilet seats. And if you do, don't tell anyone about it or animate it. I do think that there is a manga, if I'm not mistaken, or at least there was one afterwards. I don't know if it was based on it. And I do think that there's like more. I think it's a little more extreme with like just outright sex. See, okay, real fast before we go to you, I was gonna say Baba Black,
Manuel,
but then I'm like, no, I didn't want to go there. This
even
isn't
you
the
have to have limits
podcast.
somewhere, Manuel.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, move on. You're next.
Okay, so my next one is Aka 13 Territory Inspection Department. This was my favorite anime of 2017. I'm assuming you don't know it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
for Manuel and everyone else watching, the basic premise is Jean Otis is
How
like
do you spell it?
Aka 13 or John Otis?
Aka 13.
ACCA?
Oh, okay, go keep going.
Yeah, is basically internal affairs for a government agency. He generally has like 2 years to do all the like member states of this country, but suddenly he is given 6 months to do all of them, and he has to go through each different state and like inspect them, and slowly this conspiracy builds up about like trying to overthrow the government at the 100th, I think it's the 100th or the 1000th, like anniversary of the king's coronation, or like the original king's coronation. And so it's just like, hey, here's this place, and then the B plot will be, we think John is trying to start a coup. We don't know how. We don't know why. But the information kind of slowly builds up. It is also an anime that will make smoking and bread look cooler than they ever really should be.
Smoking and bread?
Yes.
Like baking it?
No, eating bread. Just bread in general.
My God. That's weird. That's a weirdly specific thing.
And the opening, Shadows and Truth by, I think it's 1-3 Notes, is just one of my absolute favorites.
Huh.
Yep, that's about... it's by my favorite studio, Madhouse. It has really great art, just a really great soundtrack, and really great vibes. And I like I said, I like that kind of story that kind of builds up this tension of what exactly is going on and who's playing whom.
That sounds cool. I don't know if I'll ever watch it just because I'm animated. I'm animated out.
Plot twist. I'm going to force Manuel to watch it at Anime Expo because he forced me to watch so much stuff or avert my eyes while he was watching Stranger Things last year.
Anime Expo was fun. No, not only did I make you watch Stranger Things or make you like not watch Stranger Things, I was watching it while you were there and you hadn't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But I even made everyone watch Full Metal Jacket. That was my favorite. That was the favorite thing. What the fuck was I thinking? Anyway.
I don't know. I just assumed you were drunk the whole time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I was drunk when I started that movie. Anyway, I have a. Okay, I'll go over my. This isn't a recent recommendation because the show I think came out like 2006 or 7, but it's recent for me because I technically watched it only recently. Did I watch it before? No. I watched the first episode, skimmed the plot before, but this time I actually watched it. It's Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of I still have mixed feelings about it. I feel like it's somewhat of a throwaway magical girl show in that it's short, in that it's to the point, and that nobody talks about it really anymore. But there's some interesting things in it, like some of a genre mixing, and I feel like it also like what's the word I'm looking for? It's a little. I like that it's short. It doesn't really fall too much in the monster of the week tropes, and that it still has like the darker elements. And I believe this is pre Madoka, so yeah, it's like it has darker. I don't want to spoil it, but basically, it's nothing as crazy as Madoka, but it's like there are some things in it with like, whoa, I can't believe the show went there kind of thing. You know, have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay, well, for once I won't spoil it. Also, I wanted to sneak this one in a bit. Merly mentioned it last week, but Madoka is actually a really good show as well that I saw recently. I didn't watch that one before fully, but I watched it recently, and that's also a decent recommendation. We talked about it a lot more last week, but it's another good magical girl show.
Yeah, I would definitely second
really short.
Madoka.
So yeah, they're both really short and really easy to get into. Like I think I actually did Nanoha like in these names. So that's why I keep having to think about them because I don't want to say one over the other. Nanoha, I think I watched it over 2 nights, and then I watched some of the movies. There's also movies we'll talk about those another day. But yeah, it's good. It's good if you like magical girl stuff. Boogie Pop Phantom. I don't think that's. I thought about that one, but I don't think that's short. Anyways, go on. JD, your next one.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is Recovery of an MMO Junkie. Yeah.
Oh, it is short. Boogie Pop Phantom. Anyways, keep going.
Okay. Yes. So this series stars a woman named Moriko Morioka, otherwise known as Mori Mori.
Memento Mori?
No. She's, I believe, 30 years old. She got laid off from her job not that long ago and has just became addicted to an MMO known as, I believe it's Fruits de Mer, like Fruits of the Sea in French. I don't speak French. And it's just like she plays like a male character in the show or in the game. And she meets this guy and they start bonding. And eventually, I think both of them learn that the other person is plays I guess play someone who is not of their gender in the game. She plays a guy, he plays a girl. He plays like a little like a feminine healer named Lily, and it's just like their budding relationship and them trying to keep this secret from each other as they both kind of figure it out anyway.
I don't know why. I know it's not the same at all, but that made me think of that Black Mirror episode.
I haven't watched Black Mirror, so you're gonna.
Oh my god! There's an episode where these two guys, they meet. Well, they don't meet this way. They actually already know each other, but they start playing a fighting game like in VR.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of them mains a girl, the other one mains a guy, so they end up like fucking in VR, and the whole thing is about that crazy like thing of them like fucking in VR and do they like each other or not. I don't know, it just reminded me of that because the video games and like
Mm-hmm.
the opposite gender, technically it's not the same because like obviously that's a lot different.
Yeah.
But everyone go watch that Black Mirror episode. It's crazy too. That looks like a good one.
Yeah.
Is that recent or is that like
that's like I want to say 20, maybe 18. Well, I think I have the Blu-ray right here. Let me see what year it says. It doesn't have it anywhere on here. I will put it in the notes when I upload this later.
Also, as a little aside, I did Google it. I had to make sure like I didn't talk out of my ass. Nanoha did come out in 2004, so I should have watched it a lot sooner. God, I'm stupid.
Also, it's another one with just a great like opening. I can't remember it's Saturday Night something. I can't remember what the full name of it, but it is just a really great opening.
The MMO one.
Yeah. Okay, Manuel. Sorry, you're trying to segue.
Okay. Speaking of openings, well, I'm gonna come back to my actual segment. I want to just mention one last thing about Nanoha. Now that I know for sure when it came out, the opening of Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, the show, it's this song that the melody sounds a lot like Lion from Macross Frontier, and I just realized that this came out before Macross Frontier. So
you got it the other way around.
Whoever the fuck wrote Lion, Maya Sakamoto, whoever the fuck like actually wrote that. I don't know if she actually wrote the song, whoever wrote it for her or whatever. You have some splaining to do. It's like the same melody. It's like dun, 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 dun. It's you have to hear it. Anyway, it's the same melody. Anyway, speaking of Macross, and by the way, I say Macross every so often. Like mispronouncing things is my thing, but we it's most notable because we do a thing. We do panels on shit, and we used to have a panel on Macross. I actually stopped doing it not because me pronouncing Macross the way I do. And in case you want me to cut to the chase, a lot of people like to correct me and say it's Macross. And I guess you can say it is. It's like it literally is tomato because neither is really closer to the Japanese katakana-y way to say it. I think everyone's big thing is like, oh, it's based on Macbeth, so you have to say, Macross or whatever.
Is
or
it
Macross? It supposedly is. Like they got the name from or the dude who designed it got the name from Macbeth. I don't say Macbeth, I also say Macbeth. Anyways, so what are you gonna do?
Wait, Manuel, does this count as performing theater? Do we have to go like do a whole bunch of rituals to get the bad luck out now?
Probably. Last Fanime. See, why can't we watch fun things? Last Fanime, we watched Romeo plus Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann movie.
Oh, okay.
Instead of
I thought you were going to talk about the anime, which is Romeo with ex Juliet.
Oh, you're right. There is an anime. I have seen it. I don't remember it at all. I mainly watched that one in the background with my with a then ex girlfriend. Like I say, my ex, like you know which ex it is. Anyways, back to Macross. The reason we stopped doing the panel, though, just to cut to that chase real fast, is because people. I like talking about the shows and the music and the actual aspects, and not just the giant robots. And everyone like just wanted me to talk stats on robots. And I think Macross gets that more than any other show. Like no one really. Like there's people who watch it for robots and hate that there's like singing and drama, and then people who like that part and don't really care about the robots except that they're there, like me. Anyway, talking about Macross Plus, which is, in my opinion, the only Macross show. By the way, it's a 4-episode OVA that has been cut into a movie, but I prefer the episodes just because there's more content all around. The movie has actually added content, but it takes some out. So like you like win some, lose some. But I want to see just a full cut of everything in there. But and I'm sure somebody has edited that together. But Macross Plus, it's also like the most, I think, not canonically, but like time wise line. It's closer to the original Macross in that it takes place, if I'm not mistaken, it involves more of the original like Macross characters. Well, I guess Seven would, but like there's a lot more continuity closest to this one. Basically, there's this planet. In case you don't know the plot of Macross, like humanity fights this alien race called the Zentradi. They end up winning, but wipe out a lot of each of their own species, and they spread out to the galaxy to go like populate other worlds. And in this particular one, this particular Macross, they basically rebuilt the whole thing from like Earth. I think it's like Earth 2 or some shit like that. They have the Macross that's like sitting in the water that's like broken, the original one, and they like built a city around it. And it's a very, I don't want to call it adult because you might think I'm talking about like, oh, it's full of sex, and there is sex in it. But like the way a lot of other Macross shows are like, oh, 17-year-olds going to war, which is unfortunately very true. but but this one is a lot more like adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like as
Um,
in they are actually adults. They're
yeah, like physically, like in their 20s, probably at the youngest. Adults. At least I don't know. Check the ages. Uh, this one does have a singing thing because hate to break it to you guys, but all Macross is about culture winning wars, not actual fucking guns
yeah.
and
That's how I play
robots.
Civilization. That's what that's taught me. You just collect enough artifacts,
So
put them in museums, and you win. Life.
you civilization, the Western way. But yeah, that it does have a very like pre-Miku-ish virtual idol called Sharon Apple, but it's a lot more. There's a lot more direct shit. Like there's a lot more interpersonal relationships. Like, and it's also interesting because Macross has this love triangles where it's always like each show is kind of like, oh, the boy, which girl will they pick? This one's unique in that it's a girl with two guys. That's rare in media. Period. Well, it's not rare like in all media, but like it's a lot rarer than the other version.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
was about to say,
very
Manuel, have you followed any like YA novel over the last 15-ish years?
but those are usually written like for women by for women by women. I'm trying to say whether or not anyone at the top is like cares, but I'm pretty sure this is probably written by guys. I don't know, maybe it's not, but you don't see that, you don't see the dynamic very often. I don't know. It's a really good show. There's a lot more action in it. Um, the other adult like esque Macross series is Macross Zero. I do not like that one as much. Um, you get your robots, you get your good animation because it's an OVA, not a TV show. You get your music if you like it, which to be honest, I actually don't like the music from Macross Plus that much, but it's there. It's a good show, and it also was the very first Macross show I ever saw unedited because I'd seen Robotech before. Macross Plus was the first thing I'd ever seen. I was very confused because even though Robotech steals like its entire first thing from Macross and most of the later shit too, I was very confused. Like I'm like I thought we're on the SDF3 or whatever the fuck bullshit like Robotech makes up or whatever, and I'm like I thought Rick Hunter was like colonizing the world, and I was like, oh wait, all that's wrong.
Okay,
Also
what?
because
Keep going.
huh?
Keep going.
Also because it's like it's an OVA and a sort of thing. It doesn't involve as much. How do I say this? It's a very standalone story. You can go into this without really knowing the Macross nonsense.
Yeah, I was just going to ask what happens in Zero because I haven't seen much of Macross, and I think the only bits I've seen of Zero are in an OVA or not an OVA, an AMV set to Danger Zone and like parts of
Well,
Top Gun.
In Zero, it takes place before like the Zentradi come,
Oh, I got that
so
from
it's
the Zero.
basically like it's basically them setting them. It's literally the war that unifies the Earth, like as the Earth Federation. So they're just fighting each other. So it's like the people, like the Pro Earth Federation with like Roy Fokker. I love that name, Roy Fokker. Like, and he's while they're like trying to fight like the the opposing nameless, faceless, uh communist looking like fighter pilots. And they're not really communists. I'm just saying that like a very Top Gunny looking thing. Uh, and meanwhile, while that's happening, we're discovering the proto culture that's happening on Earth. Like and in case you don't know proto culture, no, it's not an energy force harness like Robotech taught me. It's the real term where it's like the culture that existed before everything that kind of everything branches from. So basically, it's where they learn about like the the civilizations that like came from space or whatever the fuck, basically like ancient alien bullshit. It's a good show, but Macross Plus there's no invading aliens in either of these shows. Macross Plus, in this special Earth, they have like a AI kind of thing, like a Skynet, and basically that starts taking over. It's sorta. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's very a Skynet-y plot. That's Macross Plus.
All right. My next one then, which we've actually, or at least Ada J has talked about before earlier this year, because it doesn't fit on the screen. It's a place further than the universe.
Oh, that's the one that what's her face is in?
Yes, that's Kaylee's favorite series, and they finally got to be in it. And I can't fit this on this.
Is it the one with the penguin?
Yes.
There's probably more than one penguin.
Yeah.
But there's a penguin.
Well, I mean, they go to the South Pole. Of course, it's going to be penguins. Okay. So yes, a place further than the universe, or as I like to call it, good main and abyss. Fight me. So yeah, essentially, this girl's mother goes on an expedition to the South Pole and sadly doesn't return. So she kind of works up. She basically spends years of her life just badgering her mother's friends to take her on the next expedition, and finally gets the chance. But she gets a group of friends. They go through training and start this voyage, and I just liked it.
I think we mentioned it before. Like it was someone else's like favorite anime at the time. I'm confused. Did it only get dubbed recently, or was Kaylee in a newer version?
Yeah, it just only got dubbed in the last couple of years.
Oh, but it's been out for a while, right?
Yeah, but it was out for a while. It's just one of those series that just didn't get like licensed for dub for whatever reason.
Like, I always mention this before. It's like one of those weird. I always see this every so often, like when Aniplex, like Sony will release like on Crunchyroll, but it'll be subbed, and the only way to get the dub is to buy the really expensive Aniplex like DVD. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
Well, you see, Manuel, there's this thing called money that can be exchanged for goods and services. So they would like you to exchange your money for goods and services, so they can take that money and exchange it for goods and services of their own.
Well, my next recommendation is going to be Demon Lord Dante. This is a very Go Nagai heavy one, I guess. Demon Lord Dante is it's funny because I feel like Go Nagai he has literally rewritten Devilman several times, like literally. But I feel like even when he writes his side like demon shows, he's still writing Devilman again. And Demon Lord Dante is one of those. Basically, it's this dude who like gets involved with this cult. Like a cult kidnaps his sister, and they're gonna sacrifice her to like. I won't spoil it yet. And then they're gonna sacrifice his sister to revive a god. And then he goes to go rescue her, and it turns out that he gets possessed by this demon named Dante. And he's now a demon named Dante, like a la Devilman. He can transform back and forth, and is protecting his sister and whatever. And he has to fight his old friends who are like demons and now being controlled by this cult. And it turns out, and this isn't that much of a secret, it happens in the first episode. You know who the cult is, like who the god is they're trying to revive?
Is it Dante?
No, it's God. The bad guys are, it's a Christian cult trying to revive God. And God's going to come to Earth and cause the apocalypse. And basically, God's the bad guy. And it turns out that in the olden days, like in the God times, like as in like when it was just gods, that Dante, the demons, and everyone else lived in like this magical, peaceful land, like Eden. Basically, it was meant to be Eden. And God comes around and is not happy that they're having all this fun and wants them to like live a strict life, and like basically goes to war against them, like to wipe them out. And yeah, TLDR, the whole plot, it's like Spawn, but like if Spawn was really pretty much the good guy, and the angels were really, 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 really the bad guys. And as a matter of fact, like I mentioned, like he at one point in one of the first villains Dante has to fight is his old friend. I forget his name, with his old friend, demon friend, who the Christians, they're the cult, have kidnapped.
Not Virgil,
And
is
like
it?
it might be. I don't remember. Like, that's what I'm saying. It might be. It's his old friend. And yes, there are a few like divine comedy references throughout this thing, and I think that's probably the whole point. Like it's meant to be like a whole reversal type thing. So, anyways, where like the best friend was kidnapped and tortured and forced to fight for God, even though he doesn't want to, shit like that. It's a great show. There's a lot of Devilman tones through it. Like the way he becomes Dante is very reminiscent of the way Devilman becomes or Akira becomes Devilman. It turns out, and I'm sure the show only did this. I want to read the manga one day. It turns out that his sister, who he's clearly kind of in love with, isn't actually related to him, and she definitely was his lover in this Eden-ish time, like in the past. And in case you've never seen Devilman in your life, every Devilman story by the end ends in the apocalypse. So it's no spoiler by telling you that this one ends in the apocalypse. And it's just a really great show, and I think it's the only true adaptation if you want a TV show. Um, Besides Devilman Lady or Devil Lady, it's the only true adaptation of the Devilman story that's not like Crybaby and it sucks. That you can get, and it's in the
Still
form of
wondering
Demon Lord
about your
Dante.
taste, Manuel.
Crybaby sucks. The worst animation of my life, of their lives, or anyone's life.
You know, maybe don't take any of Manuel's suggestions unless I back them up.
You were not referencing Devil May Cry.
How do you know? You don't know if I've read the Divine Comedy or if I know anything about it.
Everyone knows the Divine Comedy if you've never read it.
I don't think everyone knows Virgil's in it, though.
Oh, that is a good point. You might.
I mean, you would have been closer if I said, "Hey, is the sister named Beatrice or something?" See, that would have been
a sister in there too. I forgot about that. See, look, I think Go Nagai just wanted to put the Divine Comedy into Devilman. um, it's a good show though. I like it. Honestly, you can't really go too wrong with Go Nagai adaptations, but Demon Lord Dante is one of my favorites, as is Shin Cutie Honey, and that's that. Your recommendation.
All right. My next one, No Game, No Life. This is one of my favorite isekai series. Have you heard of it,
I've never
Manuel?
seen it. Okay, I've never seen it, but I love the opening song. Both its original version and one of my favorite. I like following a lot of what do they call it? It's not Orotomita. Orotomita is dancing, but basically the people who do covers on YouTube or like on Nico Nico or Billy Billy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's whenever one of my people that I follow cover that song, I'm like, yes. But yeah, the song called No Game. I forgot what the song's called, but like at the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wanted to see the show just because of the opening song, but I've never seen it.
So yeah, for you and everyone else, then basic summary: two, I guess, top tier gamers get challenged by a fantasy world god to a game and manage to beat them, then get transported to this world where everything is decided by games, and have to help humanity, one of the lowest ranked of the old races, come back from the brink. And so what happens is a bunch of games that just go from, simple card games to, hey, what if we could just take away random things in this Shiritori game? Right? That's the one where it's the word chain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, hey, what if we decide to bet an entire kingdom on a game that we don't even know what it is, just hoping that we can get through it? Actually, so it's some absurd stakes. It is some great comedy. I know some people don't like the art, but I love the art style of it.
The art style, because I obviously seen the opening at the very least. It looks fine to me. What do people not like about it? It's not Devil and Crybaby.
You're gonna bring that up every chance you get, aren't you, Manuel? I have no idea.
Like, that's at it.
Hey, this one is sorry. This one technically has a movie, but that movie is mostly just a prequel about like how the state of the world where everything's decided by games came to be. I basically call it the Rogue One of the series.
Hold on. Wasn't Ender's Game? I can't remember which one. Was it Ender's Game with like the other race like play games so much that even though they were losing, they're just like, what sci-fi thing was that?
I don't think that's Ender's Game. I have not read or
It
seen it.
wasn't. There's a sci-fi. I think it's a novel. Oh, it's definitely a novel. I don't think it's a short story. There's a sci-fi novel where like the they're basically playing game. Okay, Ender's Game. They're really fighting the war. That's the whole point of
Yeah,
this game. Spoiler alert. But
everyone knows it by now, Manuel.
there's another sci-fi thingy where like, everyone thinks that they're like, I mean, they're knowingly playing a game, and they basically beat the aliens. Even the aliens mad outnumber like the humans because like they've taken over the galaxy basically. They've been playing the game for like millennium, like their entire lives. They're like, yeah, we lost. You're our boss now, kind
Okay,
of thing.
so it's not
Anyway, it
like
sounds like that.
something like the Last Starfighter or whatever, where the video game ends up being like training.
Yeah, yeah, but it's fucking it's a book or something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the part vaguely reminds me of that.
Mhm.
Everyone's stealing everything. TLDR.
Also, I just love Stephanie Dola. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Stephanie
Dola.
Dola.
Yeah, the princess of the Human Kingdom. Her grandmother literally is designed like the king from a Hoyle deck of cards. She is one of the best embodiments of like high intelligence, low wisdom I've ever seen. Like, she knows how to run a kingdom. She cannot bluff or tell if someone's bluffing to save her life.
I don't know why you reminded me, but I did not. This is a super fast recommendation because I don't really talk about it. It's not on my list. The Banner of the Stars, Crest of the Stars. Also, even though they're 12-episode series, there's like 3 of them. Um, I like that show. It's funny because I think that people are like, oh, that show's basically like space Nazis who are like, controlling humans or whatever, and they're the good guy. It's like Starship Troopers, but without the satire. That's the best way to describe it. It's space Starship Troopers, but they're aliens without the satire.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how you got there, but okay.
It's called leaps of logic, JD. You gotta be like me. You gotta just grasp straws and start saying weird shit that you low key half regret later.
You only half regret the stuff you say, Manuel.
Only half. Speaking of half regretting, there's an anime that every so often when I mention I like it, like, and this is in the way before times when I was young. Like, people would talk shit about me back then. Not talk shit, like, yeah, fuck you, man. But they'd be like, oh my god, man, that's a horrible anime choice. I used to like the anime Popotan. And if you have never seen Popotan, you've at least seen the opening, because that's where like the dance comes from, the caramel dance center, what it's called, where they're just doing that thing. I'm not gonna do it even if I was standing up, but the meme dance, the anime dance. But it's basically just like a harem anime, of course, based on a fucking visual novel book thing, and it's a very slice of lifey type anime. I remember I have memories of putting it on when I was young. By young, I mean like high school-ish, right after high school age. Putting it on at night just to kind of go to sleep to, kind of, because it was very like quiet and chill. And yeah, we're not wrapping it up yet. I have my actual recommendation. The one I wanted to sneak in there, the actual recommendation, which is it's only 3 episodes, is Kekko Kamen, another Go Nagai one.
Could you spell that for me, please?
Kekkoukamen, like common, but
Yeah,
Kekko. It's like gecko, but with K's, all K's.
Yeah, let's say
G and C. Oh, make sure you put the E and the O in there. Ooh, I just realized what I was about to say. Like, anyway, Kekko Kamen, if you've never seen it, it's a superhero. It's just also a magical girly one, but the superhero anime where nobody knows who this mysterious girl is who's always rescuing this other girl, and who's being tortured by the big toenail of Satan. That's his name, by the way. The big toenail of Satan, who runs this like very very sadistic like all girl school. And she's naked. She has like bunny ears, like a red mask with like bunny ears, completely naked, and she has a scarf. The theme song is fucking iconic. Also, I didn't know this until like, I mean, I've known this for a while, but I didn't know this until like about 5 or 6 years ago. The whole show, the theme, everything is a spoof of this really old, like considered like the first tokusatsu show ever, called Gecko Kamen. As in the moon. who also is referenced in Sailor Moon, the Moon Knight or whatever the fuck his name is, the second version. The second version of Tuxedo Mask. Remember when he did.
Okay, no,
Anyways, have you not seen Sailor Moon R?
no, I've not seen Sailor Moon
Anyways,
R.
yeah, TLDR. It's not spoiler because it happens in the first episodes of that one. The first 13 episodes of Sailor Moon R have like its own little weird. I guess it's a core too, but it has its own little subplot of its own. And Tuxedo Mask is not there, and it's this guy named the Moonlight Knight who's clearly
Oh,
just Tuxedo Mask.
okay. Because you were saying Moon Knight, I was just thinking the Marvel Comics character.
Oh well, he looks very similar because just like white robes. That's the whole. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
Manuel,
wouldn't be
you
surprised if
know,
Moon
with
Knight.
a title like this and white robes, no, please don't mix them.
Oh God. Anyways, yeah, Gecko Common is a superhero. Blah blah blah. Gecko Common's naked. Um, iconic theme song. She fights evil. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, like I think in the show in the anime, there's even there's that imagery in there at one point because there's a character who's like just a straight up World War II villain. I'll say it like that. And oh man, maybe I shouldn't have recommended this one, but I still like it. Also, beyond the thing, there's a whole world of live action movies that are great that I used to love watching in the early 2000s. I have them on my computer ripped because I just love the movies just to put on in the background because it's like really wacky and it's just a naked superhero. It's a naked superhero. You gotta fucking love it. Oh, also, whenever her finishing attack is she'll like come at you because she's naked. She'll come at you with her crotch open, and like
Yeah,
I think
Manuel,
they actually
once again, are you sure this
this
isn't
is
porn?
this is not porn, but she comes at you with her crotch open and like puts her crotch in your face, like and when she does that though. Like Go Nagai's animated face pops up in her crotch because they can't show it. Obviously, she pops up there. It's like censored. It's a real thing. And I kind of steal that every so often. Like we haven't done it recently, but I'm still open to do it. We've reviewed a lot of hentai games from not JList, a manga gamer, and usually we'll still hide it behind a wall. We have to click to see the images, but we still don't want to show genitals or shit like that. So I'll put the Go Nagai animated face right there to cover it up. It's my own little nod to Keko Common. Anyways, I guess that's my last one. What's your last one, JD?
Ooh. What's the last one I want to pick on my list of here?
Yeah, I left two that I can't. And it's funny because well, we'll do a quick lightning round again. And I'll
Okay.
mention it then.
I think for my last one, I'm going to go Paranoia Agent then.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah.
I've seen it though.
Yeah, I know I brought this up like a year and a half ago, like as something you should watch, and you said you'd already watched it.
Yeah,
So,
that's one of the few that like I watched back in the day.
so yeah, the late great Satoshi Kon's, I think, only directed TV series.
I didn't even know he was involved with this.
Yeah,
I'm sure you mentioned it then too, but like I'm hearing this again for the first time.
yeah. So one day, the creator of a successful children's show is just seemingly attacked by a kid on rollerblades with a bat, and these attacks keep happening, and it's just like trying to figure that out and kind of looking at, I want to say, looking at society and how we deal with kind of our grief and guilt.
Damn,
Yeah,
it's a good show.
it's a really good show. It's really hard to talk about it without spoiling some things, but it is just kind of, it's another one of those shows that can get really confusing, or at least kind of really, I don't want to say open to interpretation, but it's really kind of out there, and especially towards the end, like when that one guy starts like kind of going off out of reality. If you remember that, like he becomes like
Yeah,
this, he gets this warped view of reality where he's like a fictional character and whatever. Also, it basically the mind screwiness that you kind of associate with Satoshi Kon starts about as quickly as the opening does.
it's a good show. I really wish I really wish I thought of that.
Yeah.
I think I forgot when you brought it. It definitely wasn't the last time you brought it up, but that would be what I recommend too. So my rapid fires real fast is JD. Wesley mentioned in the chat about Boogie Pop Phantom. The funny thing is, when I was brainstorming my thing, I didn't. First of all, I didn't want to cheat, and just Google what are some short animes to see what I knew. So I didn't want to do that. So what I was doing in my own head, as I was trying to like, was it how long was that anime? Did I Google it and make sure it was 12 episodes? Like shit, I hadn't seen it in a while. Um, and I could have sworn I looked up Boogie Pop Phantom because that was in my head. I'm like, hey, that felt short, and I could have sworn I Googled it and it said 24 at the time, but no, it's 12 episodes. Oops. Um, so I guess recommend that one. Elfen Lied is another one that
Yeah.
I didn't mention. Short. Everyone hates the ending. That one should have been longer, but it still exists and it's great. I don't know how I recommend this twice and don't talk about it at all. Magical Shopping at Kid Obashi. I still love it.
Yeah, you mentioned that one last time too.
Yeah, I feel like you have to get that one on DVD, and not because it's like, you want the extras. There are extras, but mainly I don't think that unless somebody took the trouble to rip the actual DVD and not just like do a new sub of it on the DVD, there was like not just subs but like notes to jokes that you could turn on, do a special feature, and it would you had to pause it all the time, but it basically be like, oh, this is a reference to this. This is why this thing was said, or why this thing. Like I remember there was this joke where like somebody's like, "Oh, over and out," and then it fell, and then the radio fell over. They had to make a note that the way he phrased it was like he said this, and it sounds like fall over, and that's why it fell over, like shit like that. And that's a really bad example, but there's a lot of jokes in that one that are very cultural. That I'm like, oh, it sucks that it had to be explained to me, but it's also kind of cool that like it's that deep. And beyond those, I think my only other throwing out another Go Nagai one that I met. I purposely left this one for just a mention because it's a little. There's some parts of it that definitely have not aged well, but I did like Iron Virgin June, which is funny because it brought up the whole June thing earlier. Um, and it's basically about this. I can't really even say the plot without like sounding controversial, but basically about this like Samson-esque woman, as in she's like a super powerful woman who has like her weakness though is that once she ends up like having sex, like she's gonna like lose her powers, and like her family wants to marry her off, so it's her fighting off suitors. That's basically the plot.
Okay.
Hence the title, Iron Virgin June.
Yeah, like I said, that makes sense now.
And there you go. That's pretty much all my recommendation. Oh, Demon Lord. Oh fuck, doesn't matter. I'll just leave
You
it
already
there.
did Demon Lord
I'll just
Dante.
stop it. No, this is a show called Something Emma, but it's not Demon Lord Emma.
Oh,
It's a 4 episode. It's a God.
I think
Doesn't
I've
matter.
actually heard of it, but
I'm gonna Google it real fast. Anyway,
okay.
see you.
So yeah, ones I didn't get to. This one is technically getting a second season, so I didn't know if I could count it.
Demon Prince Emma.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
That's so similar. Anyways, move on.
Yeah, so one that technically only has one season now, but we'll be getting a second season soon. Girlfriend. It's basically guy finally gets his childhood friend to say yes to being his girlfriend, then has another girl confess to him, and decides that the best way to deal with this situation is to basically ask his girlfriend if he can date both of them at the same time. So it's a bunch of idiots trying to do polyamory.
Nice. It sounds.
Yeah, as long as you understand that everyone is an idiot and you're laughing kind of at them, I think you'll have a good time.
I have to ask the obvious. Is there an X in between the girlfriends?
No, this is his first girlfriend.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, is the show called Girlfriend Ex-Girlfriend?
No, it's just girlfriend.
Oh, okay. That's all I needed. Anyways, keep going.
Other ones. Watakoi, Love is Hard for an Otaku.
Oh, yeah.
Nerd, I guess, starts working, or I think girl starts working at the same company as like an old childhood friend of hers. Has some, like, gives, like, talk about how she's unlucky in love. He says, hey, why don't we go out? And it's just kind of them working through the relationship and kind of bouncing that off another pair of lovers who are also otaku at their company. I feel like I got 91 Days is another one. It's another kind of like classic gangster story like Baccano, more toned down, not as much like blood and violence, and much more just centered on this story of revenge that takes place over essentially 91 days. Like, guy's father is killed, but he manages to escape, comes back. No one knows who he is, so he like joins up with the gang that killed him and is basically out to get revenge.
Huh. It's I just had the title 91 days. It reminds. It's like a Kingdom Hearts title. It's like 360 whatever the fuck over whatever the fuck.
358 days over 2.
There you go. Same thing.
And it's exactly 13 weeks, which is, I don't know if that was intentional or not, considering that, the unluckiness people associate with 13.
Oh, I never knew that. No one ever says that. What the fuck? Anyways, are you done with your recommendation?
I can give 2 more really quickly. One that I kind of hope gets another season, but I don't know if it's going to. Remain. This is a water polo sports anime. Huh? So basically, after a big game, this ace water polo guy gets in a car accident and is in a coma for the better part of a year. So he's basically held back a year and has completely forgotten how to play. But one of his old teammates convinces him in high school to like join or start up a team. And so a couple episodes go by. He gets his memory back. But the bad part is he was a terrible person before that.
Okay.
So he is now just back in like completely terrible person form. And it's kind of his character development back into the nice person he was when he didn't have his memories. And learning that he does not have to be the only player on that team doing anything. And I can give one more because it's right by it on the list I'm looking at, which is Remake Our Life. Basically, a guy in his, I think, late 20s, maybe early 30s, is looking back on his life and realizing that if he had chosen the arts college he wanted to go to, would have been there the same time as these, like, 4 incredible game developers, like, in different parts of it. There's, like, one who's a music person, one who's an art person, one who's a writer. I'm assuming, it was 3 of them, the like platinum generation. And so, he goes sleep and he wakes back up when he's 18 and right before he made that choice. And he's like, well, gonna try this differently. And so it's him.
That's literally the plot of whatchamacallit of that game I played. I did a DTL on a Shiraoka Second Chances.
Yeah. I say it's him. It goes over some of the difficulties of like film making, game development, that kind of stuff. And while it takes like a terrible leap in logic that doesn't actually work in game dev, it'd be like something if you wrote about it, Manuel. I don't really mean to insult you like that, but sometimes you don't know anything about how game dev works, and it kind of feels like that's how the person who wrote this kind of thought of it. It's like, hey, let's make a big engine change. It's just a dragging and dropping, right? No. As a professional game dev, no.
He's lying. Game dev's easy. So don't believe them.
No, okay.
I love how... Sorry, anyways, wrapping up. I love that... I have the stream running over here, but it's paused on the main thing. Obviously, you're on it as opposed to being behind the scenes. I like the scene I paused on. You have the further than the universe thing there, but it doesn't fit. And I'm like, JD, you made it not fit.
I have it automated just so I can change it and then press a button. It doesn't. I haven't figured out how to resize it yet, so I just shortened it to APFTTU. If not, I will fix in post.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny because it's where I have it paused. I just looked at the screen and I'm like, I can't even read what that is. I only know what it is because I know what it is. And I know when I paused it because, is that what you were screaming about that I did not screaming about? You were saying it didn't fit? I just realized that's what you were putting on the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, it turns out that he was aware of it. It just dawned on me because the reason I unpaused it was because I'm like, what's he talking about? I unpaused. I didn't see anything, so I paused it, and now I could see that it didn't fit. Anyway, that's Ultra Podcast Z. Next week, I think we're gonna have. Next week I know we have someone else on. I'm gonna talk. We'll talk about later, but I think it isn't an anime movies. Isn't that next week?
That was my suggested topic.
Yeah, if we don't end up doing that, because I didn't want to sneak it idle anime. And we kind of wasted Murdy last time not talking about idol anime, but I did want to do that just for reasons. There's a few shows I want to talk about, and I have seen several because we did do an idol panel last year at Fanime, and I foolishly watched a ton of idol anime, thinking I was gonna prep for it, and then we didn't even.
Okay.
And there's panels for you.
Okay, Manuel, but did you
Anyways,
watch, was it Pura Ore, Pride of Orange?
no, but I feel like if we do idol anime, I have to watch that new one, the new one everyone's talking about, Oshinoko. Have you seen that one?
No, I've heard about it. I need to watch it, but it's on High Dive, and I don't have High Dive at the moment.
I mean, you could always just go to like.
No, Manuel, I'm cutting this part out. Keep going.
anyways. So that's anime 3 next week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe anime movies, maybe idol anime, maybe something else. Who knows? But JD will unfortunately probably be back in the shadows, the shadow realm. We'll send him to the shadow realm. Another Yu-Gi-Oh reference out of nowhere. Beyond that, Warren, I only know Warren's alive because Leslie has not mentioned it to me. Because he's not mentioned that he has died, because I have not talked to him literally since the last time when we did a gaming stream. So that's my way of saying there's probably no gaming stream for a while. Snacks and I have talked about restarting our own, and we were going to do this anyway. This isn't like a plan B. We were talking about doing this anyway. I was just hoping that we'd do 7 until this happened. But me and Snacks are gonna probably. I'm going to Fanime. He's going to Spain. Random, I know, but he's going. But when we're all back from our little things, we're probably going to restart gaming like A to J Adventures without Warren, and just at least for a while. And
Here's the Kingdom playthrough.
I don't know about that. We're probably gonna play Suikoden because the Suikoden remake finally is coming out soon. I'm trying to convince Snacks to not play, because Snacks is gonna play. I'm trying to convince Snacks to play the original, because if you play the original, you can literally move your save from 1 through 5, and this works through emulators too. So you could just move your, or modern, And the remakes, I'm sure, only share 1 and 2. Anyway, I mean, how else could it play with 3? Anyways. So yeah, Friday's Drink Talk Roll. I think it'll be a similar cast as last week. Just yeah, it'll just be how DMing instead of Andrew though. And yeah, that's it. Peace out. Thank you all for watching. Love you. I was gonna say my little aside is that when shit, I lost the joke. Never mind. Fuck my aside. If I remember, I'll tell JD and he'll post it up there. Like, man, you had a stupid joke to say about Kingdom Hearts or whatever, and he'll throw it on the top.
And if your name is somehow my aside, sorry. Good night, everybody.
Actually, no. Good night.